Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to synthesize dozens of absolutely mind-blowing science facts and map them all out on this epic journey. We'll be traveling from the incredibly tiny scales of everyday reality all the way out to deep space. We've extracted some of the most fascinating phenomena ever documented, and we're going to break the whole thing down for you right here. To make sense of all this without getting totally overwhelmed, here is our roadmap. We're going to zoom out step by step, starting with a microscopic world, moving through everyday physics, nature's weirdest wonders, some wild tech and engineering, and finally wrapping up with deep space mysteries. So let's kick things off with Section 1, the invisible microscopic world. Basically, what's crawling right under our noses. Now, you probably remember mitosis from high school biology, right? It's the process where a single cell splits into two identical cells. But what's really mind-bending here is the sheer scale of it. While you're just sitting there watching this explainer, literally millions of cells in your body are undergoing this exact process to keep you functioning. It is the fundamental biological engine of life, and it's happening relentlessly without us feeling a single thing. Okay, let's get a little personal for a second. If you were to take a piece of clear tape, press it against your face, and then put it under a microscope, you'd see these cute but kind of terrifying face mites living on you right now. They spend their entire lives deep inside the pores of your skin. And here is the really wild part, there is absolutely nothing you can do to get rid of them. But hey, try not to freak out too much because they are a completely normal part of the human microscopic ecosystem. On a much more comforting note, this microscopic warfare is exactly why hygiene matters. Under a microscope, everyday soap literally destroys a germ's cell membrane. It just causes the whole thing to fall apart. And inside your body, the defense is just as fierce. Your white blood cells are constantly on patrol. The second a parasite invades, these cells instantly swarm and aggressively attack the threat. It's like an invisible war going on 24/7 just to keep you healthy. Moving on to Section 2, mind-bending everyday physics. This is the magic hidden in normal life. So, under incredibly specific conditions, matter just completely defies our everyday intuition. It's something called the triple point. This is the precise temperature and pressure where a substance freezes, melts, and boils at the exact same time. You can literally watch a liquid bubbling and freezing over in the same breath. It looks like a complete glitch in the Matrix. Which actually brings us to maybe the weirdest backyard physics experiment we came across. Can you cook a piece of raw meat just by slapping it? I know, it sounds like a joke, right? But remember, physics tells us that motion is energy. Believe it or not, you actually can do this because motion is energy, relentlessly transferring kinetic energy through slapping forces that mechanical motion into the meat as heat. In one documented experiment, continuous slapping raised a steak's internal temperature from 9 degrees Celsius all the way up to 60 degrees Celsius until it was fully cooked. And yes, they actually ate it afterwards. No way I'd try that, but hey, science. Everyday physics is honestly everywhere. Take Bernoulli's principle, for example. You can inflate a massive human-sized plastic bag with a single breath just by blowing into it from a slight distance, which pulls the surrounding air in with it. Or how about dunking hydrophobic dandelion puffballs into a glass of water? Because they're hydrophobic, they repel the water entirely and pop back out completely dry and fluffy. Physics is constantly at play all around us, turning the mundane into something extraordinary. All right, Section 3, nature's weirdest wonders, evolution's most bizarre experiments. I've got to admit, I was genuinely shocked to learn about the transparent-headed fish. When you look at it, you immediately assume those two dark spots on the front of its face are its eyes. Well, actually, scratch that. They aren't. Its real eyes are those glowing, green, dome-shaped structures housed completely inside its see-through head. It literally looks upward through its own transparent skull to spot food drifting above it in the ocean. Just wild. And this stuff beautifully highlights evolution in action when it comes to survival instincts. On one hand, you have a species of beetle that can be completely swallowed alive by a frog, travel entirely through the frog's digestive tract, and then casually walk out the other end, completely unharmed. Insane. On the other hand, you have the trapjaw ant. If this ant falls into a predator's sandpit, it physically snaps its massive mandibles against the ground with such force that it literally launches itself into the air and out of danger. That brings us to Section 4, Wild Tech and Engineering, Building the Impossible. 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a blistering temperature. Yet this is the exact temperature of the specialized material used to make space shuttle tiles. What's absolutely mind-blowing here is that you can take these glowing red-hot cubes out of a 2200-degree oven, and within seconds, you can safely pick them up with your bare hands. The material dissipates heat so rapidly that it simply doesn't burn human skin once it's removed from the heat source. This side-by-side comparison brilliantly illustrates exactly how far safety technology has evolved to protect us. When you crash test a 1950s car, the passenger cabin totally collapses inward, offering basically zero protection. But modern cars, they are engineered with crumple zones that absorb all that violent kinetic energy in the front end, leaving the passenger cabin incredibly intact and safe. Now, sometimes engineering is just used for a giant flex, like somebody actually proved you can turn burned diamonds into carbonated water. First, you burn actual diamonds to capture the resulting carbon dioxide. Then you force that CO2 into water to carbonate it. The end result? You're paying over $1,000 for a bottle of water that, by all accounts, just tastes exactly like normal soda water. But okay, back to life-changing tech. In a massive leap for bioengineering, scientists have perfected a process called spinach decellularization. They take a regular spinach leaf and wash away all the plant cells, leaving behind nothing but a pristine vascular scaffold. By doing this, scientists believe they can eventually fill that scaffold with different cells, potentially using it to grow functional animal meat or, incredibly, even a human heart. Finally, Section 5, Mysteries of Deep Space. We are zooming all the way out to the cosmos. Looking at actual time-lapse footage from rovers shows us that the unique atmosphere on Mars filters light completely differently than here on Earth. While we get those warm reds and oranges as the sun goes down, Mars casts this incredible, eerie blue glow over its horizon. It is just a stunning reminder of how totally alien our neighboring planets really are. You know, our orbit is incredibly crowded right now. There are over 500,000 pieces of junk, satellites, rocket bodies, debris, just whipping around our planet. And they aren't floating lazily either. Almost every single piece is traveling at mind-boggling speeds of over 17,000 miles per hour, forcing the International Space Station to make regular maneuvers just to avoid catastrophic collisions. Speaking of catastrophic collisions, 5 billion. Over 30 years ago, a colossal comet violently slammed into Jupiter. The force generated by that impact was the equivalent of over 5 billion atomic bombs detonating all at once. It's a pretty terrifying testament to the sheer scale of energy that exists just outside our own terrestrial neighborhood. The universe operates on timelines that are almost unfathomable to us. In about 150 million years, Saturn will completely lose its iconic rings, changing how it looks forever. Fast forward to 4 billion years from now, and the entire Andromeda galaxy is on a direct collision course to crash right into our own Milky Way. Just entire galaxies colliding in a beautiful, slow-motion cosmic dance. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this thrilling thought. We know that the massive nearby star Betelgeuse is expected to eventually go supernova. When it does, that explosion will be so unbelievably bright, it will literally light up our daytime sky here on Earth. So if a single exploding star can turn our night into day, just how much more mind-blowing science is out there waiting for you to learn about? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.